the City of Columbus for Thursday, September 21st, 2017. We do have a quorum. Everyone's present with the exception of Greg Robbins. This meeting has been noticed accordingly with state statutes and local ordinances, and the next thing we need to do is to approve the agenda for the evening.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda is approved. Next item is to approve the minutes from June 15th and August 24th, 2017. Any questions on the minutes? If none, I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of June 15th and August 24th, 2017. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. We have no unfinished business, so we go on to new business tonight. And the first item is to have a public hearing to consider request of Thomas Niehoff to rezone tax parcel 1410.01 from R1 Single Family Residential to B2 Highway Commercial. Unless anyone on the commission is opposed, then I will open the public hearing. Seeing none, the public hearing is open. We do have Thomas Niehoff here this evening. It's appropriate to turn the floor over to you if you wish to speak to the commission or address the commission with any concerns you have. We do have our packet here with the basic information.
Okay,
Could you please come up to the microphone just so people that are watching, then we can hear what you're saying. Thank you and welcome.
back when my dad had that zoned residential, and across 16 was zoned commercial, he was planning on houses, but the way it's been, I've been approached by a couple businesses on that 43 acres, but it would have to be rezoned to commercial for them to purchase the property. I don't know what else you want me to tell you.
That's been pretty clearly pointed out in our packet that this would be,
And the residential thing with the dog food plan, it's not a bad smell there, but if the wind's in the right direction, I wouldn't want to build a house there, you guys.
all right. I guess I can turn it over to the commission if anybody had any questions they wanted to ask Mr. Niehoff directly or just comments in general. Go ahead, Uriah.
Are you at liberty to tell us how much of which areas you've been approached by
What-
proposals? Because you're proposing that you rezone the whole thing.
Right, correct. Patrick knows the businesses, and if he wants to let you guys know on who it is, that would be fine with me, and they want to purchase the whole 43 acres.
I'm more interested in extents as opposed to necessarily who they are. So-
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Patrick knows who it is, and if he wants to let you guys know, that's fine with me.
Go ahead, Ed.
The only thing I had about this whole thing, and Tom answered the question that I had, and that was about floodplain and things in his potential commercial lot. And I'm assuming that there shouldn't be any problem with anything like that, because taking it away from a residential to commercial should ease that problem.
I guess on the map that we have, I don't know do they denote any floodplain issues in that 47 acres?
There is, I would think, less than 5 acres in the bottom lower corner that borders the Wisconsin Academy, that
Okay.
there's a ditch that runs through it, and I'm sure that would be considered.
If it had water in 2008,
It's
it's
on the
gonna
map.
be in.
Yeah.
Michael, just quickly, there's a letter from City Engineer Letha in here. I just speculating that if he would have raised the issue of the floodplain, it would have been included here, and I don't see anything there. That doesn't mean it's not there. It's just would have thought he would have included that if it was something of his concern, I guess.
Yep.
So,
point.
yeah.
I'm also guessing so, although that's a little further down the alley from where we are. So
Yeah.
I think his main concern was the comprehensive plan update issue as opposed to any of the finer details of resource areas. So,
Alder Kenny?
I guess question for you, Patrick. Looking at the map we have here in our packet and then kind of trying to squint at our boundary over there for little jigsaw pieces. The little bump out south of Hall Road and kind of that whole area in general. Is this the only area that's zoned residential right now? Or we have a lot of residential in the area and this is just adding on to our commercial zoned area? I guess like what's kind of the 25,000 foot view, if you will, not getting
Sure.
too far out, but.
Yeah. We have other undeveloped land that's residential, but nothing that's imminent to be developed. Let's see if the community trails piece that's, as we're talking about that West Side Park in that area, that is zoned residential right now. I believe parts of still the Highland Ridge area. But again, those are both not, I'm not aware of any plans to move forward on residential there, so.
Any other questions for Mr. Niehoff?
I actually just have a quick question for Uriah, actually. You noted the comment about the comprehensive plan amendment, and we've touched a little bit about that on the staff level. I'm just confused about at what point do we address that, just from your experience?
it's got to precede a rezoning. That's why it's kind of a concern at this point. I grabbed my comp plan because I thought and was right just after shuffling through it that there's an outline of how to proceed with it. All of what I'm about to say here is gonna have the big disclaimer of I didn't read the whole thing. So, but in general, my understanding is that has to be amended first, and that can start with the plan commission to move toward making an amendment. The procedure, the process, I'm not quite sure of. I don't know if there's an ad hoc committee that's formed, if something formal has to get put in, if there's a application like a rezone. So some of those things I didn't get far enough in, but it's that has to get done first, and then it can be zoned. That's my understanding of it. So, I mean, I can say my feelings on the whole idea for the community discussion, but I don't know. I think we're probably at the point where that area needs to get talked about. So.
Right, as a whole for the
Yeah,
for the
as a
comp
whole,
plan.
I mean, the comp plan
Right.
was 2010, and it should be updated in 2020 officially.
Yes.
So we're nearing that point anyway, and and I know just there's a lot of areas in town that appear as one thing on the comp plan, but this was done right after 2008, and all sorts of market conditions with what people want for lands and what they want to purchase and build, and it's a whole different ballgame, so it's.
Thanks, Uriah. Would be a good question. I bet you Ann would have had an answer, but she's
Right,
probably currently out of state enjoying her retirement right now. But I think that kind of covers, my main question is looking at the comments and concerns from Jason, is it spells that comprehensive plan out in there, kind of a more 30,000 foot view of what we're doing tonight and what that process would be. I don't know.
Right, and unfortunately, yeah, with Ann gone, I would have probably talked with Tom prior to tonight a little bit more about that comment, so.
Well, I guess if you want to keep the public hearing portion of this open, we certainly can. Or if you want to figure out a way to strategically make a recommendation based upon some sort of contingency to look into that comprehensive plan review or amendment, if that needs to be part of the procedure, because I don't want to get the cart ahead of the horse where we're doing something here that we're going to have to do again if we find out that we skipped a step along the way. Go ahead, Bob. Yep, you're on.
Is some of this time sensitive, Tom?
Not really. How much time are we, like, the first of the year? I don't know.
I don't have a timetable. I was just thinking, would it be appropriate to maybe just flat out table the whole thing for right now till we find out where step one is, the step whatever? This way, like you said, you're not putting the cart ahead of the horse.
Yeah, I don't want to do something that we have to undo and then do over again. And if I mean, the end of the year seems pretty reasonable that we could collect some information and bring this back to the meeting next month, as long as we know what we're doing. Or if the first step is the plan commission, or if the council needs to do something on this, just so we're aware of that process.
There has been an offer to purchase put in,
Okay.
and I got to respond to that within the next 10 days, but,
Okay.
you know, you guys do what you got to do, and
Just want to make sure that whatever action we're taking is correct.
well, it's, you don't have to rush into it, but
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate.
Don't drag your feet too long, in other words.
No,
it's rented out as farmland now, and it was a 3-year contract. That's up when the crops come off this fall.
okay,
And then I don't know which way to go to sell the property, but that would depend on if it's rezoned commercial, or do I do another lease with the farmer, you know?
yeah, I understand.
And again, not to pry, but is your offer to purchase contingent on a rezone?
No, it wasn't.
Okay. Okay.
I don't, you know, my lawyer looked at it, looked it over, but there was nothing I seen in there about being rezoned to commercial. But that's what the prospective buyer is looking for, is commercial property. And it might not be him building something next year or the year after. It's probably gonna be farmed for a few years, and
There was
then-
the whole other issue of getting utilities out there and, you know, a
Right.
traffic study and a lot of things that go into that. So that's why, yeah, I didn't figure it was, this portion is not the critical path part of it. The critical path part of it is a lot of the infrastructure, right? But if your offer to purchase was contingent on getting a successful rezone,
Not
then
that-
there's a little bit of a conflict there. Not
Yeah,
that,
not
not
that
that
I-
I think we should move on it simply because of that, but something that we would need to be aware of so we can appropriately plan out meetings. And I know there's public noticing that has to go with it, and, you know, neighbors get letters, that kind of stuff. So, to answer the question about how long would it take, just reviewing this, it looks like it could be anywhere from a 3 to 6 month process. Probably, depending on everybody's view of the matter, you know, 3 to 4 months, but there is, you know, a couple of rounds of public hearing.
Sure.
It does have to go to council, so, anyway.
Thank you for all that, Uriah, for reading part of it. I didn't I didn't dig mine out of the basement for this meeting, unfortunately. All right, if there's nothing else, at least we can close the public meeting if everyone's all right with that, and move on to the next item to decide what we're going to do with this. So, did you have anything else to add while you're here?
Not that I can think of right now. I'm sure halfway to my dad's place I'll think of something. but-
Thank you, I appreciate you coming in.
Okay.
Okay, so legal.
Thanks, guys.
Yep, thank you. I am required legally to ask 3 times if there is anyone present that wishes to speak at this public hearing, and I will include that question as my first call. I see no one, so I'll ask for a second time if anyone wishes to speak at this public hearing. And for a third and final time, we'll ask if there is anyone present that wishes to speak at this public hearing. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing, and we will move on to item B, which is consider recommendation to the Common Council on the request of Thomas Niehoff to rezone tax parcel 1410.01 from R1 Single Family Residential to B2 Highway Commercial. Bob?
Like I said earlier, I think it would be best if we would table it for right now till we can find out what the appropriate steps are and don't have to come back and address the issue a second time.
I agree with you. Is that a motion?
Yes.
Matt?
I was just gonna say, I agree with Bob. I think that by going through the process, determining what that process is, there might be 1 or 17 steps, and it'll also help us kind of dive into what that plan is, and knowing what's going on with the city out in that area and future development. I think it's definitely going to be worth a serious conversation as to, is this the next piece that's right for us, kind of thing. So I think that by digging out the process for that plan, which I guess none of us but Uriah brought our homework with us, it'll help to kind of go down that path as well and make sure that conversation's had. So I would second the motion by Bob.
So I will take that we have a motion and a second to table this item to further review the amendment, or to amend the comprehensive plan and to address the 4 items and the comments and concerns sent from City Engineer Jason Letha. Is that appropriate? Does that cover everything? Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No one's opposed. The item is tabled. All right, thank you. Then number C, I'll turn that over to you, Patrick. Updates on local development activities.
Okay. Continuing, the most activity is out in TIF number 4. The From project still ongoing. We should see some activity of the parcel just south of that, the Drexel Building Supply. That should be within the next month or so. Working on the site plan review and some other logistics related to that. Otherwise, you could say the main development project in town is James Street. That's everybody can see what's happening with that. Crews are working hard, and progress is definitely being made there. The stated completion date for that is October 20th. I'm at this point not sure where they're at. If they were running ahead of schedule for most of the period here, so I'm sure they're well aware of that time frame. And if I get updates, I'm certainly gonna update you when I have a chance, but update the community as well. So that's all I have.
Anybody have questions for Patrick on any of the stuff that's going on? None? All right, thanks, Patrick. Unless there's anything else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed to adjourning? We stand adjourned. Thank you. Our next regular Plan Commission meeting will be Thursday, October 19th then.